This is a quick demo video on how to do the triangle program in Python. I'm going to use an online compiler, and I'm going to show you a couple of things as a way of this demo. And I'll keep this on the side so you can see. I'm going to use a online compiler. This one happens to be Program Is. You can use any other online compiler, or even a standalone installed a Python IDE of your choice. First thing that I want to show you is I'd like you to use a template that is standard for whenever you are writing a program. Okay, so let me bring that in. So here is a sample template that I'd like you to use whenever you submit a program or write a program. Put it in at the top using this block, a comment indicators with the three quotation marks. Give your name, a class, and a section, and word or two, title, and then maybe one-liner or two-liners, brief description on what this program is about, and then always provide a brief IPO chart layout. So what are the list of inputs that you're going to need, and then a little bit of sequence of how you are going to process that input to figure out whatever you're figuring out, and then what the output would be, right? And then the actual code, you want to put it below these comments here. I also like to give you some tips on good programming techniques. So when you write a program, try, in the beginning, it may be, your goal maybe to just get it working and get it done. But I like you to think about writing a good program or write it well rather than just semi-working. The program is to serve the people. You're not just writing something and just be done with it. It needs to serve the people's need. And so have your audience in mind, and then engage your audience with some respect and courtesy. I think it'll help you to write a good program. Whenever you use variable names, which we'll talk about today as well as later, use meaningful variables in the names. Python is case sensitive, so be careful in how you use them and wherever you're using them. Test your code before submitting. Make sure that it is working, and rather than hearing from somebody issues that the program is having. And whenever you submit a code or program, submit it in an actual text file, TXT, not in a Word doc or RTF or anything like that. So it would not contain any other unnecessary other codes. So now let me show you how I would program this. As it's just one way. This is not the most efficient, but it will demo one of the first programs that we are doing. So the first thing that I want to do is to kind of follow this logic here a little bit, right? And so I'm going to just copy and paste what I already wrote so I can save some time. But the first thing that I want to do is to tell the user what this program is going to be about. This is more for me or whoever's reading your code, but I want to tell the user what this is about. So I'm going to use a print statement, and the print is a command, and whatever you put it in the quotation within the parentheses will be printed. And so you say hi, and this is going to do this. And then you probably want to ask for that person's first name or something, so that you can engage that person, right, in a personal way. So say please your first name, switch to print statements. And then you want to grab whatever the person is entering. And so to grab whatever the user is printing on the keyboard, we use what's called a input function. And so you, unlike math formula, in programming, we execute from the right side of the equation to the left. So we're going to grab the input, and then assign it to a variable called name. All right, so after this line, we have grabbed whatever the user put it in response to the name. And now we're going to ask for the inputs. The area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to ask for those items here. So I'm going to say, please enter the value of base. Height doesn't really matter. You're going to be asking for each one of those. So after you give the user instruction, the user is going to type it. So it's same as the name here. You need to grab it. So I'm going to grab it using the input from the user and assign it to a variable called base. And you can make up these variables as you see fit. You can say name1, username, it doesn't really matter. You can say base1 or the triangle base, whatever you think would be appropriate. Now you grabbed it. And then, so one of the things that we need to do, realizing here, is that when the user puts it in a response to this, it is accepted as a character. And so now we need to do a conversion from the character value of the base into a number, right? It doesn't recognize that it is a number. Everything the user puts in is a character. So we need to convert it. And then we are going to convert it using int or integer. In other words, find the integer of the variable base, which we got it from here. And then we can reassign it to the same base. Now this base will have, here is a character, but this would be an integer, right? So we can do that. And then now we want to get the other variable. So we say print enter the value of the height, and we would do the same thing. We would grab the input from the user and then assign it to the height. And because it is a character, we are going to convert it into an integer and assign it back to the same variable height. And now this will be an integer. Now we will figure out the area of a triangle. And so we will do the calculation of base times height divided by 2 and assign it to a variable called area, right? Once we figure out the area, we can print that out. And so we're going to use a print statement to do that. And this is kind of a little bit fancier, maybe for the first time. And so unlike the other print statement, we have print, same thing. And we have a quotation of high. So this will print as is, but then with a comma separated, a variable name here. And we got it from the line 20 here when the user entered his or her name. So it will not print name, it'll print whatever the name the user printed in that is assigned to a variable called name, right? And then it'll print out the area of a triangle is, and then comma, and then same thing here with area. It will not print the area as an area, it'll print the value that was calculated in the line above, right? So that's pretty much it. And so I'm going to back this up, and I'm going to run this program. And when I click on run, it'll say, hello, this program will find an area of a triangle, which is from here. And it's a please enter your first name, which is right here. So I'm going to say, John or something like that, and then press enter. Then it says, please enter the value of a base, which is right here. I'm going to enter like 2. And, we won't worry about the units, anything like that. So press the enter. And this is enter the value of the height, which is over here. So I'm going to say, 5 or something like that. And then you say, okay, it calculates this. So print, hi, John, which is over here. The area of a triangle is 5.0, and you're done, right? So if you can rerun this again, you can say Mary, base as in 3, you can, 5, it'll give you that, right? Now, we won't worry about, formatting all this output at this point. We're just concerned about you getting the template correctly here, get used to it, and then some very basic commands of how to write a simple Python program and how they are sequenced, particularly the print statements and the input statements, also utilizing variables here. Now, I'd like you to know that, as I mentioned, that Python is a case sensitive. most of the time. So if you change this to a capital P here, right? And then you try to run and see what happens. It's going to error out, right? So it even ask you that, did you mean to say lower P? So I'm going to come over here and maybe get rid of that and do a lower P, and then it runs fine, right? So I'm going to say, came here, 3, 7, and then gives the answer. Then, so you may want to copy this here if you want to submit it. Copy this, and then I usually like to, put them on the notepad. And so, let me pause here for a second. And I just right click on it and paste. And then you can save it and submit it as a text file. Okay. Now, if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can get a snippet here, and you can just do something like that. You don't have to get everything, because if the this might get kind of long, but since you can capture all this, and then you can bring it over here, and it's got the name of the program, online compiler, and most of your program, as well as the output, right? So this will be a good screenshot that you may want to copy this, and then open up a Word here, and you may want to say your name or something here if you like, and then do a paste, and then you can just save this Word doc and submit it. I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully this gave you a good overview and a good starting on how to write a simple program such as triangle program. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks. Bye for now.